Hey night, we are here. All right. Let's get a computer going. Bad hair day, you can tell. I'll explain in a minute. But yeah, let's get the screen up that I can see me. Make sure you guys can hear me. Jacob says 5x5, Finley 5x5. Okay. You guys are hearing me, right? That's the important part. Because, of course, we always get the microphone acting up or YouTube silencing me or the beeps on the phone or whatever it would be. So, all right, looks like a bunch of you guys are saying we're all good. Happy Tuesday, guys. It was a beautiful day here in East Tennessee. It was 70 degrees, not a cloud in the sky, not a chemtrail in the sky, and nice and sunny. So that was nice. So Mrs. P and I got tons of stuff done outside. It's nice doing it in February. It's like I got my pea trellises up. Those had to go because peas go in the ground. Peas go in the planters here tomorrow, and then they go in the ground in about 2 weeks. Let's see. I got the other two gardens tilled. All that mushroom compost got tilled in, so the gardens are all ready to plant. Our test cabbages, the ones we started in the greenhouse, went in the ground today because those things were 1.5 feet wide already. So I may have some very early cabbages. We'll see if weather holds out. Cabbages can handle cold weather, so as long as I don't have anything down in the 26, 27 degrees, they should be okay. So we'll see what happens. Hung more boards in the ceiling on the garage today, which is the fun part because now I'm around those lights and the attic door and the garage door opener, so it's all sorts of crazy cuts and doing that. So that was fun. So yes, it was a busy day around here, but hey, you take advantage of it now. Like I said, if I know some of you guys have snow, but I figure, okay, if I got good weather now and I can get all this stuff done now, the less I have to do tear my hair out come late March, early April when everything's going in the ground fast and furious. So that was it. All right. So for the fun stuff today, if you guys saw, if you didn't, today was oral arguments on the student loan bailout in front of the Supreme Court. Obviously, we don't have a decision. We won't have that for a while. And of course, the head of the teachers union is screaming bloody murder, going, I can't believe people are against this. They weren't against the PPP program. They weren't against the stimulus checks. I'm going, no, a lot of us were against that stuff because we're paying for it now. And, again, the one question they never answer is, what about the people that paid off their student loans? What about the people that didn't go to college because it was too expensive? Or, whatever it would be. What about those people that were responsible and said, I don't want $100,000 in debt hanging over my head forever? What about those people? Like the one guy that asked Elizabeth Warren, do I get my money back? And she laughed and said, no. Oh, okay, so you only help the people that are irresponsible, don't help the people that are responsible. Not saying that people have student loans, don't get me wrong, but, you signed your name on the dotted line. You're responsible for it. I'm not responsible for your kids. Sorry, lady. So that was that. And then the other one that I'm going to go into probably more tomorrow because more news keeps coming out on this one. And I kind of teased it a little bit in the description of this. So is Joe Biden an arms dealer? Okay. Now, I'm not talking about Afghanistan because that could possibly come into play, leaving, $80 billion worth of weaponry for the Taliban or something? But I guess there was a person arrested in Cyprus, either today or yesterday, whatever, by the name of Gal Luft, who was a specialist in energy security and U.S.-China relations, who they're arresting him on suspicion of arms trafficking to Libya and China, who has a whole bunch of information on Joe's dealings with China, and Congress wants to get him in front of Congress to testify. And from all the stories of he can completely blow Hunter Biden out of the water. So we're going to see what happens, but there's more information on that because the Pentagon's even weighing in right now, saying that they're having a hard time figuring out where all the weapons we sent to Ukraine have gone. It's kind of hard for those weapons to be tracked if they're not there anymore, and it's kind of hard for Joe to get his 10% if they're trackable. Kind of start putting puzzle pieces together again. So we'll see, but as more information's coming out on that overnight, we'll see how far I can get on it. Maybe tomorrow morning, maybe tomorrow lunch, we'll see what we get into. But that one's going to be very interesting because this could completely blow the roof off of the Biden administration, because from what we're already hearing, this directly implements Joe in crooked business dealings and arms dealing. That would be interesting. Which... yeah, let's see what happens there. All right. So those are the two big things that I saw today. I mean, you guys know about, there's some things obviously I just can't get to. I mean, you know about the chemical spill. Not that it was a major one, or south of Memphis there in Mississippi, but that one's going on. See what's going on. There were stories today that some of this toxic waste from Ohio is being shipped to Indiana now. So yeah, just I'm trying to keep up with as much as I can, but I'm also trying to get done around here what I can. So, unfortunately I can't, well, not unfortunately, because I enjoy working in the yard. But I can't sit in front of the computer 24/7 and just watch news. It's like, okay, let's keep my prepping going as well. So, all right, let's get into the fun stuff, which is Q&A. For those of you guys that are new here tonight, welcome. Kind of tell you what we do. Tuesday, Saturday nights are Q&A. It's your chance to talk, not listen to me. Well, listen to me answer, but you guys pick the topics. Nothing's off limits. We talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. The only thing I ask is that you put your questions in all caps. So that I know you're talking to me. There's 1,200 of you guys in here right now. There's one of me. So the one thing I demand is that you keep this polite and friendly. Disagreement is fine. We all disagree, but as soon as you go off the rails into one of these, you're an idiot, yada, 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 or worse, you will be out of here so fast, your head will spin, okay? My moderators are best in class when it comes to YouTube, and I'll never see your comment if you are trying to be a smart ass to me, to anybody else, because they're cleaning them up as fast as they go. Fortunately, things have gotten very, very good in the last, I'd say, 3 or 4 months. We're not seeing much of anything. Maybe one piece of riffraff in here, a video or a live stream or whatever it would be. It's been pretty good. So to all of you guys, thank you for that. And that's what makes this more of an enjoyable place for all of us to be, is if it's not a bunch of screwing around. Let's just leave it that way. All right, let us get to the top, and we will see what is on y'all's mind tonight. And there we go. Okay. Looking for caps. Just for your FYI, are you Russian Orthodox too, or just Mrs. P? Just Mrs. P. I was raised Lutheran, but as I consider myself, I am a non-practicing Christian. That's pretty much how I look at it. Okay. Yes, I am, how do you want to put it? Spiritual, but no, I do not believe in organized religion. I think they are all a money grab. And I've told you guys many times the stories too. I was raised Lutheran, and the Church of the Perpetual Lent, but it was I absolutely had it with the church when the sermon one day was the pastor getting up and saying, "Oh, and little Johnny sold his grandpa's baseball card collection to give it to the church. And this group of people sold their house to give it to the church." And then we get out of church, and I get into my little 1991 Pontiac Sunbird that I sold for $100. that was basically falling apart, and watched the pastor get into a brand new Park Avenue to leave church. And I'm like, I'm out of here. Okay. That's it. Sorry. Ain't selling a house, ain't selling a legacy or something like that. So you can drive a brand new car, and the people you're asking for are driving stuff that barely stays on the road. And no, that wasn't the only church. There were numerous ones that I belonged to in different places I lived, and it was all the same. Let's see. Lorelei, Pinball, have you ever used microbial lichen usnea? All over here in Tennessee. Never heard of it. Microbial lichen, I understand those two. I don't, usnea, don't know what that is. So no, I have not. If I have, it's been by accident. Katrina like a hurricane. Pinball, say hello to my son Arthur. Arthur, hello. Right here, Arthur. Yes, I am talking live right now. There you go. See? Yes, YouTube is more than just videos. It's also live streams. So, okay. Moving on along. Oh, God. David NO836. Hey, Pinball, they're trying to blame sudden deaths on zero-calorie sweeteners. Well, that's all right. Originally, they were trying to blame it on this. That went over like a lead balloon, and so they're going to try to blame it on anything else other than what the true cause is. Even though finally, after 3 years now, the government is now kind of admitting that, gee, this all came from China. No shit, Sherlock. We told you that 3 years ago. Okay. Did they want to listen? No. Okay. It came from Fort Detrick. Right. That's why for the first 2 months it came from Maryland, but all the people that were sick were in China, but it came from Maryland. I got you. Okay. Anybody that trusts the Chinese, sorry, you're an idiot. It's like trusting the Ukrainians. No. Ann Palmer, what type of peas are you planting this year? We are planting a variety called Mr. Big Pea, or Mr. Big. It's give you about a 6 or 7 inch pod with somewhere around 12 or 13 peas in it. Mrs. P loves canned peas, okay? Just adores them. And last year I grew some of these, and I grew some sugar snap peas. Sugar snap peas are great. You're outside, you grab one, whatever it is, eat it and everything like that. But we don't cook much with it. She cooks more with shell the peas and do it that way. So this year I'm going to grow all shelling peas, and we'll go that way. And the Mr. Bigs are the most productive ones that I can find, because literally I'm getting twice as many peas, the seed, out of each pod, and these things are prolific on growing. So the fun part with peas is they take up a lot of space, and after you're done shelling everything, you go, yeah, I got about 8 quarts of peas. That was it, 16 pints or whatever. You go, that's it? There's a lot of space to do that. Yeah, but when the wife likes it, you do it. So that's about it. So I'm not the world's biggest fan of peas, but if she likes them, I'll plant them for her. Rural Internet Prepper, thank you for the super chat. I would happily agree to pay off student loan debt if they took the exact matching funds and used it for all the veterans' homelessness and for all the veterans who served. Thoughts? Yeah, that would be an interesting scenario. Let's give it to those people as well who didn't go to school, signed on the dotted line with, up to and including their life. And, I went to school after the Army on the GI Bill. But, I had to put money into the GI Bill while I was in. And then when I got out, it was a whopping, back when I got it was $700 a month that I got, which was a lot better than the $100 I put in. So it was a good investment. But, now these guys are getting astronomical amounts of money, but the cost of college has gone through the roof in 30 years too. But yeah, I mean, you hit on something that hits close home to me is, why the hell aren't we taking care of our veterans? Why is it, like I talked about in the lunchtime video today, Why is it that we can cut off the assistance for the elderly or the people on disability or anything like that, people that need food? Why is it that we can cut that, but we've got no problem sending another $12 billion to Ukraine, announced by Janet Yellen yesterday? Yeah, I agree. The priorities of the Biden administration are so effed up, it's unbelievable. All right. Frugal family farmhouse. Will the president go to Ohio? Thoughts? He has already said he is not going. I mean, again, Biden is such a moron, okay? He went to Ukraine but won't go to Ohio. He sent Pete. Pete went in dress shoes, not boots, right? Like I said, you should have went boots. Fairies wear boots. But yeah, Joe is not going. He's already said as much. And I mean, you know why? It's because East Palestine voted overwhelmingly. I think it was like 77% of the town voted for Trump. Okay. They're flyover country. They're not important. I mean, if Joe had his way, everybody would have died and he'd have been happy, And I know that sounds cold, but that's probably the damn truth. Vicky Savage, what about the people who went to tech school instead of college? That I do not know. I don't know if, for people getting financial aid or whatever to go to a tech school, if it's, still filling out a FAFSA and it's, anything like that. I'm not sure how they do it. If they did, then they should be government subsidized loans or government guaranteed loans, and they should get it. But I don't know. Von Mousetrap, there you go. My mortgage identifies as a student loan. I mean, that's the thing. Common sense says when you're paying off bills, and I mean, I know there's different ways to do this, Dave Ramsey's idea or whatever it would be, but common sense says pay off your highest interest rate loan first, okay? And student loans are what, like 7% right now or something like that is what you're paying on student loans, I think I read. And, if you bought a house anytime except for the last year and a half, you're paying 3%, maybe 4%, maybe down 2s, but, so people went and paid off their student loans because it was the higher interest rate and didn't pay off their house. And now you go, damn, that was stupid, because now I'm still on the hook for my house and they're not going to give me anything back. That's the problem. This is not fair. This is only helping the irresponsible and not the ones that are responsible. At least the irresponsible and the ones who've had student loans longer, than they've had their dog, Ed, thank you for the super chat. Wonder why we are not seeing embedded reporters on the front lines of Ukraine. Every other war has been covered by the media. Well, we're not there, remember? And nor is anybody else. And, the Ukraine media, well, they all tucked tail and ran, they're off living in somebody else's house in Germany right now, eating off the taxpayer. That would be it. I mean, you're going to send a U.S. reporter out there? Gee, you know what? How quick would that be? He's not press, he's military. We have troops on the ground. Nuke America. Okay, yeah. Stuff like that. D-Freak, the arms deal whistleblower will end up Clinton. Yeah. We'll see what happens with that. It would not surprise me. Of course, the Democrats are already trying to stop him from testifying on Capitol Hill. Of course they would. He's going to blow a hole in Joe's administration. All right. Hillbilly says, what kind of beer am I having? My Bush NA. So, let's see. Yeah, Lorna says, subscribe to my backup channel. She puts it on there. Guys, if you haven't subscribed to the backup channel, please do, because you never know when I'm going to piss off the powers that be. And God knows I've been shadow banned here for, the better part of the last 3 or 4 months. All of you telling me you were unsubscribed, I don't show up in your recommendations, everything. If there's a morning where all of a sudden you get up and I'm not here, go look over there, okay? Because you may find out, nope, I'm in jail. So, let's see. Susan Lathrop says, how is Mrs. P and the pups? Mrs. P is probably tired because she was working her ass off all day too. Planting cabbage and putting up boards and moving dirt and doing all this sort of stuff. Puppies, let's see, Daff is asleep on the couch in the sitting area there, and Copper is laying at Mom's feet. So they are worn out. They just came in from their evening playtime, so get out there and get half an hour, 45 minutes, go out and do dog things and chase balls and sniff and look for squirrels and all that sort of stuff. And of course, it's February and Daffy's like, hey, cool, you know what? It's time to jump in the pond. So she's jumping in the pond every night. And of course, we got a wet dog, and then we got to let her dry off till she come in the house. So yeah, dog thinks that we built the pond for her. That's what I get for teaching her how to swim. Let's see. Oh God, Peggy Sue, please say it's not going to be Michelle Obama. You want to see this world go completely foobar. Let Michelle Obama get the Democrat nomination. Okay? Just what we need. Big Mike running the show. That would be... She's constantly said she's not going to do it, but again, I trust the Obamas as far as I can piss too. Jennifer Jacks, have I had a chance to work on the carrot boxes? Yes, I have, and we are very close to being done. This has been the video I've been working on since like September, I think it would be, but it's step by step by what needs to be done. And right now the sand is in there, and I've got to get that done. But once the sand all compacts, then I can show you what's next, and we'll go from there. I'm not going to go all the way to how it grows. You'll see that later in the year sometime, but I will show you at least what I'm trying to do. So that one will probably be up within the next month, let's say, because it's got to get a little warmer till I can plant carrots. We just shot to the bottom. So let me find where we were again. Dove Hill Farm, how long do you keep your grow lights on for your How long do you keep your grow lights on for your seedlings? I'm assuming you mean in a 24-hour period. You need to keep them on around 16 hours a day, okay? I have them on a Christmas tree timer. They go on at 6 in the morning. They shut off at midnight or whatever it is, and then they get a little bit of dark, 10 o'clock at night, somewhere thereabouts. But you need them on for about 16 hours a day. Huts John, I planted a Better Boy and Aroma tomato in 16-inch containers today. There you go. Better Boys are really good tomatoes depending on what type of Aroma you got. The Better Boys are pretty prolific, so that should be a good thing. Now, mind you, I believe those are hybrids, but that's still fine. Tomatoes are tomatoes. It's like everybody always worries about crossbreeding or something like that. Sure, that's an issue, but they're still tomatoes, whatever you get. So I doubt in an SHTF situation somebody's going to go, oh, well, that's not exactly the tomato I thought it was. I'm not eating that. It's like, food? Thanks. Bradford Home, is it too late to plant my apple trees? They're blooming, but they're large. No, you're now, okay? Late fall to early spring is when you want to be planting fruit trees. You're in prime time right now to be planting fruit trees. Kevin Little, just wanted to say that I always look forward to these live streams. The best way to unwind twice a week. If this is your idea of unwinding, God, the hell are you? Some heart surgeon or whatever it is? It's like we gotta have like a super stressful job. So, Richard Ingram, are the coins we have today going to be worth anything in an SHTF event? Nope. No, you're talking, tin, zinc, something like that. As soon as the greenback is dissolved, the coins you have right now are worthless. Okay, you'll turn them in for whatever CBDC we have or whatever. If the dollar just turns into a Venezuelan bolivar too, the dollar's worth a penny, which is getting closer every day. Go look at the chart and see how much the dollar has devalued in your lifetime, and you'll be dumbfounded. Remember back, not that I can say I go this far back, but go back to the 60s or 70s when a family could buy a house on a one-income household. I mean, I lived in a house in the 60s and 70s. It wasn't anything enormous or anything like that. A nice house. Dad made $300 a week. I was able to buy a house on that. Mom didn't work. Okay. At that point, you buy a house. $300 a week, you can't even rent an apartment anymore. So yeah, if you want to know how bad the dollar has devalued, just look at it that way. Dennis Rose, what wattage or lumens do you use for your grow lights? If you go to the video that I put up a couple of years ago called Let There Be Light, I give you the specifics. I want to say it's I'm going to get it wrong. It's on that. I listed it in the description. It's either 5,000 lumens and 2,000 Kelvin or the other way around, something like that. Wattage doesn't make a difference. It's lumens and Kelvin that you're looking at. But what the specific numbers are, go back and look at that video, and that'll tell you exactly what it is right there in the description. You don't even need to watch the video. Annie, can I briefly explain junk silver? Sure. Junk silver is a real misnomer, if you will, for it. What junk silver is pre-1965, in other words, 1964 and earlier. Quarters, dimes, half dollars, and dollars. Okay, they are made of 90% silver, and the other 10% is whatever metal alloy or whatever they needed to do with it. Okay, anything after 1965 and beyond was now that alloy that you look at now, where you see that copper ring on the out. If you look at the edge of a quarter, you see the copper. If you look at the edge of a 1964 or earlier, you'll see it's silver all the way across. There's no alloy in it. $1.40 in face value, meaning and doesn't matter how. It could be 4 quarters and 4 dimes. It could be 2 half dollars, and 4 dimes or whatever it is. $1.40 in face value is 1 ounce of silver. Okay. So if you have 4 quarters and 4 dimes that are 1964 or earlier, they're worth about $21 right now. Even though it's $1.40 in face value, the silver value is 21 bucks. Now, the reason why I suggest having junk silver as well as silver rounds is, if you think about it, like I said, an ounce of silver right now is about $21. Okay, personally, I think it's a good time to be buying silver. It's cheap. It's on sale. Let's say you want to buy a loaf of bread. For the sake of argument, let's just make the numbers easy. Let's say an ounce of silver is 20 bucks and a loaf of bread is $5. Okay. Well, if all you have are ounces of silver, you have 2 choices. You can either buy 4 loaves of bread, or you can pay 20 bucks for that loaf of bread, which you're not going to do. So how are you going to get your change? Well, you're going to get your change in junk silver. And this is where it will come into play. So now, if you're owed $15 in worth of silver, somebody's not going to take a saw and start cutting a silver round. What they're going to do is calculate, all right, what's $15 worth of silver? And at that point, you're talking about 3/4 of a dollar. That's $1.05. So that would be what? Say 3/4 and 3 dimes would be your change. And that's how junk silver would work. Yeah, 3 dimes. Okay. Somebody says, Dominic, delete Spiato. I'm drinking coffee at 7 p.m. Hope to God you weren't going to sleep tonight. Well, I know you're not going to sleep tonight. John Glenn, getting mold on the top of the earth in my seedlings. Problem. How do I treat? What you're doing is you are keeping your soil too wet. So take a toothpick, take a spoon, whatever, scrape that off. Let the soil dry out a little bit. You've got too much moisture in your soil. So you're watering too much, or you're letting them sit in water. What that'll wind up doing is A, it's going to cause disease, and B, because they're so wet, you're going to wind up rotting the roots. So you'll kill your plant. So let them dry out a little bit, not so wet, and scrape that off. Olga Brooks, hi Pinball. When do I transplant the peas for your zone? Peas grow quick, okay? And so now the way I do it, and I'm going to tell you this, I plant my peas in rain gutters. You can go back and watch the video and see exactly how I do it, because then it's a lot easier sitting here at a table going plug, 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 than crawling around on my knees, because I plant 60 row feet of peas spaced an inch apart, 3 deep. So I'll plant, 1,800 pea seeds or something like that. That's a lot of crawling around on my hands and knees. So it's a lot easier if I've got a rain gutter in front of me and I'm just going plug, 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 plug. When it comes time to plant, I take the end of the rain gutter off and I just slide that whole 5-foot section of peas right into a trench in the garden, and they're planted in 2 minutes. Okay, you can watch the video on how I did it. It's very easy and very slick. Let's put it that way. And it's not an original idea, but it works really well. But I will start, and again, I'm Zone 6B. I'm going to start my peas tomorrow, 1st of March, in the rain gutters, and then in about 2 weeks, I will be putting them in the garden. Now, if I was just going to put them in the garden, I'm going to wait 2 weeks if I'm going to crawl around on my hands and knees to do it. I can get started now. I can get those seedlings up. Y'all remember last year as well that we had that freak late freeze and I was running around trying to put straw over my peas. It worked, but that is the risk. Peas can take down to about 27, 28 degrees. Okay, you get down below that, they're going to freeze. But peas can take a frost or a very light freeze. Deb says, Pinball, what does your shirt say? 2016 World Series champion Chicago Cubs. So I was a Cubs fan my entire life, and when the Cubs won the World Series back in 2016, which I haven't watched a baseball game in years, PBJ got me this shirt for Christmas. So Charlie Knoll, Indiana governor, told EPA not to bring waste from Palestine to his state. Yeah, well, that's why they're not telling anybody. It's like, oh, we'll sneak it in, and oh, I'm sorry, we already dropped off 84 tons of it. Oh, you want to stop now? Okay, we'll stop now. And then they go find somewhere else to try to sneak it in the dead of night, kind of like what they're doing with all the illegals. Take all this waste to Martha's Vineyard. I'm telling you, that's the greatest place to take toxic waste, to take illegals. Hey, these people are open arms. They're sanctuary everything, right? Martha's Vineyard. I mean, come on. Remember the Simpsons episode years ago with Homer and the nuclear stuff? Man, it would make their plants grow wonderfully, right? Besides, if we put a bunch of toxic waste around Obama's house, you wouldn't know the difference. Let's see. Sharon Cornelius, do you know what became of what they were saying was a dust ball over West Virginia and Maryland? Somebody sent me something today that said it was a combination of pollen and some other, and I'm like, okay, whoever said that is so full of shit, okay? It was not pollen. Pollen doesn't come down in flakes and doesn't smell like chlorine. So, that was, my guess is that was somebody who was just trying to start trouble. but we'll see what happens. No, there's been no comment whatsoever on what it is yet. Jode's Rames. I wonder if cage-free chickens are really happier. Well, the ones that haven't been euthanized are. Let's see. Susan M. 1224. Do I have a favorite place to buy flower seeds? Flowers. Okay, flower seeds. Walmart, whatever it would be. Vegetables, a little more difficult. Flower seeds, I'm not looking for anything extravagant or whatever it is. Vegetable seeds and stuff, I'm looking, what I grow is a little bit more, I don't want to say obscure, but, that I'm not going to find at Walmart or something like that. Oh yeah, I forgot to tell you guys this. I have 5 asparagus spears coming that are already 6 inches long in my garden, believe it or not. I grew my asparagus from seed, so I was pretty proud of that. When I went out there today, I was like, damn, I got asparagus. We'll see how many I got tomorrow. Buzzard, any favorite place that I like to order seeds from? Now, if we talk about vegetable seeds, I've talked about this before. You've got to order from a place that's in a relatively similar climate. For me, I get a decent amount of my seeds from Hoss Tools, Hoss. Why? Because they're out of Georgia, okay? I bought seeds before from M.I. Gardner. Not that I've had any problem with them, but his seeds are more geared toward northern gardeners. That's what those seeds are going to be acclimatized to. I'm not saying because they don't grow black-eyed peas up north or something like that. I don't grow black-eyed peas here, okay? But where they're sourcing their seeds from, that's northern, this is southern. So you want to look at it there. Then again, my onion sets, I get them from Dixondale Farms, they're out of Texas. So, but I've ordered seeds from Johnny Seeds. I've ordered seeds from Burpee, Reimer Seeds. God, I mean, so many different companies. I mean, a lot of times it depends on what am I looking to plant, who has it, and then who has it in stock, and then who has it for the best price. I mean, and that's it, It's great. I mean, I love some of these places. Seeds, 99 cents a pack, $7.99 for shipping. Like, how much is a postage stamp costing you? I need 1 pack of seeds. You're going to charge me $8 to throw it in an envelope? And it's like, nice try, But yeah, I mean, I'll look at, if it's seeds that I don't have, cost is definitely coming into play. How big are the Mr. Big pea plants? Tall, bushy? Mine last year, probably, my trellises are 5 feet high, and they went over the tops of the trellises and started going over the end. So they'll probably grow 6, 7 feet high if you had a big enough trellis to them. I mean, they're big and bushy plants. So I had my trellises 3 feet apart last year, and they all grew together. And by the end, I couldn't get through without tearing the plants down. So I lost a lot of peas because they had grown together. This year, I've spaced my trellises out some more. Donham Tribuli, Pinball, what did you do in the Army? I was an interrogator. And I see my DD-214. Go look at the John Teller video. But I will tell you this, that one ain't for virgin ears. Because that asshole got a piece of my mind when he questioned what I did. Let's see. Lori, any helpful hints on starting a container gardening, like what to plant? From what I'm guessing, just reading into what I'm saying, I'm guessing that you haven't done a whole lot of gardening in your life, okay? I would start with some of these simpler things. Start with growing tomatoes. I mean, again, provided you eat the stuff, okay? Start with growing tomatoes. Start with growing green peppers or something like that. Plant things that are going to grow fine in a pot. Tomatoes are fine. Peppers, if you like eggplant, that would be one. Carrots. Well, carrots are a little tough, at least for me. if you're just starting that way, but, experiment a little bit. If you've never gardened before, learn a little bit, watch some videos, mine or anybody else's, on how to start your seeds, how to plant your tomatoes, how to plant your peppers, whatever you want to go for. And maybe try something that's different. Try growing potatoes in a sack, a grow bag, if you will, like a 20-gallon grow bag. If you want to do that, just try it for an experiment. Learn a little bit, because you're short on time. You're not going to be able to go, well, I'm going to try a couple of tomato plants this year. By next year, you may need to know how to grow everything. So, there's a learning curve for everybody. We were all there where you are. You're going to have stuff that doesn't come up. I do every year. I grew beautiful pole bean plants last year. Gorgeous, 7 foot high, looked like beautiful Christmas trees. Didn't get a single freaking pole bean. Okay, beautiful plants, flowers, no beans. So, happens to everybody. Try, practice, and adapt. Okay, because what grows for me is going to grow different for you. What grows in one garden of mine may not grow in another garden of mine, because of light, because of the way the wind blows, because of the soil conditions, yada, yada, yada. You've got to figure out what works where you are. And the only way you can do that is try, and don't be afraid to fail. Flint McRock, Mr. P, is it true that one must plant 2 different varieties of blueberries to get good production? Yes, you have to plant 2 different kinds. Also, is it easy to grow avocados? I have never grown avocados before. I mean, I know the old school thing, I could tell you can do the sweet potatoes, put the toothpicks in to get an avocado seed growing. But I got to think, if you're going to try to grow your avocado tree, maybe you're going to get an avocado in 7 or 8 years, whatever it would be. I've never grown an avocado tree, so I can't tell you if it's easy. But blueberries, yes, you need 2 different kinds to cross-pollinate. Okay. Let's see. Kitsy Witty, breadlines and foreclosures are increasing. That doesn't surprise me. If you guys saw the story in California today, the real estate market in California is crashing. Go figure. Okay, way too expensive. People are moving out. People can't sell houses. They had the lowest home sales, and the realtors they were interviewing were saying it's slow. It's slower at Christmas time anyway. But they said they haven't seen a December, January period that slow in decades. So, yeah. People are leaving California. Gee, I wonder why, Gavin. North Alabama hiking. Thanks for what you do. Glad to have you as my neighbor to the north. Yeah, if they come streaming down from New York, the liberals coming this way, I'm the first line of defense before they get to you, at least. So, if you don't see me, get ready. If I've shaved, be real ready. Let's see. Cersei, best brand, affordable garden shovel, pitchfork, whatever. Okay, this is going to be personal opinion. I hate wooden handled tools. They all dry out, even if you oil them and everything like that, because I oil my tools, everything, and they still crack. I swear by buying fiberglass handled tools, they just stand up better, okay? You're gonna leave a tool out in the weather, you know it. Water and wood don't get along well, okay? And just buy yourself fiberglass tools. I can't even think of the brand I've got that's a Robin's Egg blue handle or whatever it would be, but those seem to work fine. So just skip the wood handled ones, my opinion. Mary, trying to grow sweet potatoes in soil. Notice the bottom is starting to rot. Can I still get slips? You might. I'd probably start over. And I can tell you why. It's because you have wet soil. You need to start with that soil very lightly damp, and then let the soil practically stay dry until you see the slips come out, And then once you see the slips, then you can start watering. Your soil's too wet. That's what's going on. Garden grower, why does Joe think all this is okay? Must be money because it doesn't make any sense. Of course it is. All right. Joe is beholden to China. Joe is scared to death about the dirt that Ukraine has on him. And Joe is a greedy SOB that's trying to steal as much money as he can because his family is as crooked as a freaking pretzel. Okay. I mean, add all that up and you've got the Biden crime family, which followed the Clinton crime family, I mean, at least the one thing we can say about Obama, as much of a POS as he was, at least the guy he was a dirtball, but he wasn't a criminal. I am redeemed. Your beer is getting warm. Thank you for reminding me. And my throat is getting dry too. So, okay. Nolan Hines, NA beer. Yes. Keeps me out of trouble, right? I don't know about you, but if all of a sudden right now I got to get in the car and go somewhere, I can. It's not a problem. Mrs. P gets hurt and I got to take her to the hospital, I can go there. Yeah. Keeps me out of trouble. And I don't wake up with hangovers. Trust me, I drank plenty of my fair share of beer in my life. And I still have the occasional one here, stuff like that. But 95% of what I have is the NA stuff. And I like the Busch better than I like the St. Pauli Girl, than I like the Heineken, than I like the Beck's NA, than I like the Budweiser Zero. I don't like any of those. The Busch tastes better to me. And it's cheaper, which works for me too. Garden grower, no showing guns on YouTube after March 1st. Remember, yes, on live streams at least. Not that I think I've done 2 gun videos in almost 3 years of the channel. So it's not one of those things that I do a whole lot of. Jamie R., what is your take on prepping for nuclear fallout? How would one prepare? You need to have potassium iodide. I would highly suggest having a mask of some sort. Mira Safety is a great place to get any of your NBC stuff. Nuclear, biological, chemical is what NBC stands for. A chem suit, chem boots, chem gloves, mask. Certainly know how to set up a room that you are going to use as a safe room that you can easily live in for a couple of days, if not a week, okay? When you're thinking about that, make sure you have access to a bathroom, okay? Make sure you've got supplies in there. If you're gonna use your master bedroom, make sure you have a way where you can quickly seal the windows, quickly seal under and around the whole door so nothing can get in. And that way you know that you can get in to use a toilet. You've got bottled water in there. You've got food in there, that you're all taken care of. It depends on how your house is set up or whatever. But a bedroom that's attached to a bathroom is probably going to be one of your better ideas. Preferably, you'd want to be on the lowest level in the house, but that makes it a little awkward with the way houses are built these days with open floor plans. You're not going to be able to seal up your entire first floor quickly, to keep any fallout from coming under the door, through cracks, whatever it is. You're going to try to get to one room. So the first floor, second floor, not going to make that much of a difference. Especially if you know how to seal it up. And sealing it up is not that difficult. You can get that shrink wrap plastic that you put over your windows, that you take the hairdryer to. That works really well. Towels, you can get those damp, stuff them under the door. You're good. Get yourself some duct tape or whatever and tape the door shut. You're set. Okay. Reagan Dog, they just ran the air sirens for Grandma yelling, just like Joe. Unfortunately, there wasn't an airstrike. That woman is, you look at who between her, Jerome Powell, Victoria Nuland, you look at how dumb some of these people are. I mean, Joe had to comb this country really hard to find people that were stupider than him. You know, what was his comment to some black group today or yesterday for Black History Month? I may be white, but I'm not stupid. What are you insinuating? White people are stupid? Because Joe, I hate to tell you this, you are white and you are stupid. Let's see. Fastball 2611. First time planting cabbage. When I harvest the heads, how long and how do I keep them from spoiling? Okay. When you harvest, how long? I mean, how long do they keep? I'm guessing you're asking. Cabbage will stay in the refrigerator for a couple of 3 weeks, no problem. Okay. If you're going to use it fresh, you're going to use it for coleslaw, whatever it would be. Now, if you planted cabbage, I mean, I put out 9 heads today, and I'm going to have a rotation because I'm going to plant 30 heads of cabbage this year. Why? Mrs. P and I eat a lot of cabbage, and I will ferment a whole bunch of it, turn it into 30 heads of green cabbage. And I've still got Chinese cabbage and red cabbage. Okay, we eat a lot of cabbage around here. I will turn a lot of it into sauerkraut. We will turn some of it into coleslaw. Pork and cabbage. Mrs. P made a she, which is a soup tonight. That's cabbage. Borscht has cabbage in it. So there's a lot of uses we get out of cabbage. Kimchi, she said that's the Chinese cabbage, but so there's plenty of things that we will do with cabbage. But you can can it. It'll keep fresh in the refrigerator 3 weeks. You might be able to stretch it out to a month. So. But learn how to make sauerkraut. I hope you like it. Depends on how many. You planted 3 heads of cabbage, you're going to eat it fresh. You planted 30, I'm going to have by the time I'm done, about 60 heads of cabbage between all of them. Okay, that's more than one a week. Yeah, we eat a lot of cabbage. We're going to shoot to the bottom. Doink, back to the top. Dan, I was afraid that's what the shirt said. Can't help it. Go Sox. Nah. Yeah. Let's see. No. The person's name is No. Seed Saver Exchange. We did it. The box, eventually somebody stole it. Eventually we had somebody on here who was less than forthcoming and decided to keep all the boxes. What do we have, 4 or 5 of them out there? We had people that just decided to keep the box on their own because a year and a half later, the 3 I put out never made it back to me, and the 2 that other people had put out never made it back to them. So won't be doing that again. Sorry, but there are people in here who are not trustworthy, and it ruins it for everybody else. But last year I thought of an alternative way to do it. Was everybody sent me a self-addressed stamped envelope, and I'd send you guys a bunch of seeds, and you guys saw the literally thousands of envelopes Mrs. P and I were filling. So I got to come up with a different way of doing that again because that was too much work. Mama Preps 4. I'm going to Vegas in 2 weeks. Any recommendations of where I should go? I don't drink or gamble. Go check out the what was the place, the crime place? Do you remember what that was called? Where we saw it, like Dillinger's car and all that sort of stuff. There was the Mob Museum. You want to go see that. If you're not afraid of heights, go to the Stratosphere, go to the top. You got to go see Caesar's Palace. You got to go see the fountains at the Bellagio. You will spend a day walking the Strip, and just the only thing I will say is be careful. There are a lot of hustlers on the Strip and a lot of pickpockets and things like that, so be careful. But oh yeah, if Blue Man Group is playing at the where were they playing? They were playing at the Link when we were there. Go see Blue Man Group. Check out a show. It doesn't have to be a Britney Spears or one of these, Aerosmith or expensive ones or whatever. Go see some of the other ones too. Those are good. Go check out Fremont Street. That's fun. Uh, you know, go play penny slots at Fremont. Mrs. P actually won the jackpot on a penny slot. Putting pennies in, she won $90 out of the slot machine when we went one time. That was kind of fun. So, but places to stay away from. Now, granted, it's been a few years since I've been there. Don't waste your time at the hotel down at the end where we stayed. Circus. Yeah, don't waste your time at Circus. That just actually was relatively dirty for a hotel. But go check out the gondolas at the Venetian and stuff like that. It's fun. You'll enjoy it, but you'll understand real quick why Vegas is a transitory city. If people live there for a couple of years and go, okay, I've had enough, I'm out of here. It's me. I get 99% germination on Dollar Tree seeds, canned about 1,000 jars last year. Jeez. We got a business? It's a lot of food to can. But yeah, I mean, Dollar Tree, I mean, seeds are seeds, guys. Okay, if you get them for a dime or you get them for $5, they're still seeds. Okay, Dollar Tree seeds are fine. You know, you don't have the selection, but that's fine. If it grows, it eats. John Poole, turn the volume down when you said Walmart for flowers. My wife is a florist. Okay, but I'm talking about flower seeds, not buying flowers. I'm talking about flower seeds. That's what people were asking about. Okay. Bricks in the wall. Hey, Sarge, what's the best indoor house plant for air? Oh my God. I mean, I don't remember. I know there is one. There's an indoor house plant that is supposed to clean the air, and I don't remember what it is. My mother used to have them. I can't tell you. That one I don't know. Mr. Action 1, Little Shop of Seeds, or 75 cents for any and all seeds. There you go. Check it out, guys. Bradford Home, how long did it take for that asparagus to grow from seed? I planted these in 2020. Okay, so this will be the third year, and the first year, and by the fall, as ironic as it was, we had one little asparagus grow this time here. Last year I had a couple. This will be my first year that I might get some decent harvest. The asparagus I have is more of a fun thing to have. We're not going to get a huge harvest. I've got 5 or 6 plants out there with it. You know, what do I expect? A meal or two, maybe, you know, a side dish for a meal or two. It was more something that was fun to do to see if I can do it. And asparagus are perennials. So, you know, I grew them from seed, planted them once, they grew, they stay in the one spot in the garden, do their thing, and I just work around them. So I like asparagus, but, you know, it's not going to feed me, let's put it that way. But all right, fine. It takes up 16 square feet, you know, one 1 foot row, 16 feet long. It's fine. It's 2 minutes to 9. Here we go again. Vicky Savage, Baker Creek is near Mansfield, Missouri. Should be good climate match for you. Yeah, I bought from Baker Creek before. I have no problem with their seeds. Pinball, have you ever grown purple hull peas? No, I'm not a fan of them. You know, again, rule of thumb, only grow what you're going to eat. Let's see. Try to knock out some here quick if I can find them. CJ Black, did I eat the pea plant? It tastes just like peas, great for salad and cooking. Not once they get big. You know, pea shoots and stuff like that, yes, but once they get big, I mean, you'll get stalks on them. They're that big around. I mean, it was like a corn cob. I just chop them up, throw them through my leaf shredder, and they go right into the compost pile. Jode's range, does growing plants under high voltage transmission lines affect them in any way? I'd actually think that it would probably be helpful because, a lightning storm or whatever it is very beneficial to plants. Don't quote me on this, but if I had a guess, I'd say it's probably a benefit. Royal Linus sounds like too much nitrogen on the pole beans, except my tomatoes were right next to them and my tomatoes grew fabulously. So, I mean, I don't know. Leona Riley, Pinball, best flowers to get to attract bees for pollination for my apartment patio garden. To attract bees, put some sunflowers up or something like that. Get some tulips or something, anything that, a lot of flowers. I mean, daisies, whatever would be. I mean, any flowers you get are going to get you something. All right, one more because it's 9 o'clock. The Fat. Did I see Woody Harrelson's Saturday Night Live monologue? Absolutely gold. I don't watch Saturday Night Live, but I saw the stories on it. I watched it, and I'm like, at one point in his life, Woody Harrelson was funny. Woody Harrelson is just pathetic at this point. But, the one line at the very end, okay, big deal. I mean, I spent the 6 minutes watching him and go, that was 6 minutes I'll never get back in my life. I did not find it. I didn't even get a smile, let alone a chuckle out of it. So like I said, Woody Harrelson went from funny to pathetic over his career. But that's what drugs will do to you. So, all right, guys, have a good evening. We'll see you in the morning. Pinball out.